Hello and welcome to a new reaction video. My name is Larissa and today I'm going to react to another Patreon request. Today I'm going to react to a small video about 10 minutes and it's from Jeff Foxworthy. So he's a comedian and we're gonna watch one of his sketches, I think. And I had honestly never heard of him before, so I'm just gonna read real quick what my Patreon said about this guy. It says, the mark of a really great comedian is to not only be a storyteller, but to bring a story full circle, which Jeff does at the end. For those not familiar with Jeff, he became famous with a series of "You might be a redneck if ... and follow up with a line like, "If you and your dog use the tree at the corner." Jeff has been on a series of TV shows and has sold millions of books. Okay, so a pretty famous guy then, I guess. In all honesty, I don't watch a lot of comedy. I also feel like it's not really my thing. Like, when I watch a sketch like this, I'm mostly amused, but it's not something I would just like watch for myself, be like, hey, I'm gonna watch some comedy. Also, I never really go to comedy shows or something like that. So it's more like I wouldn't really come up with it myself, but when I'm watching it, I'm mostly amused. So I'm just gonna watch this sketch, see what I think of it. And it is called Jeff Foxworthy wearing a pizza box. So I have no idea what we're gonna see, but let's just check it out and see what I think of it. One more thing I do want to add before I start watching is that you can also request your own video if you want. There's multiple options available on my Patreon. There's also an early access tier and an uncut reaction tier, but if you want to request your own video, TV show episode or movie, that is also possible. So check out the possibilities by clicking the link in the description to my Patreon, and yeah, it's all pretty much explained on there. So yeah, now let's watch this.
But in conclusion, let me share one comedy road story with you about me. So COVID started in 2020, right? 2020. So the summer of 2019, Larry, the cable guy, and I were doing a bunch of dates together that summer. And when you do summer dates, they're almost all outside. You're either doing amphitheaters or country music festivals or, you know, fairs. You're always outside and you get used to being hot. We did a music festival in Phoenix. It was 112 when we went on stage. And the promoter was trying to make us feel better. He goes, "Come on, fellas, it's the dry heat." I said, "So is the electric chair. It's 112 degrees, you know." So, but I don't sweat very much. I mean, you can see I don't sweat when I'm up here. And so we do this show one night in the South. I'm not even going to say the name of the city because there may be a computer genius here that can get the footage of this. But we did a show one night, and it was not only hot, it was humid as rip. So 10 minutes in the show, I got sweat dripping off my nose onto the stage. 20 minutes in, looks like a wet t-shirt contest. By the end of it, I look like I've been sprayed with a fire hose. I've never sweated this much in my life. And we usually don't eat before a show because it makes you feel kind of sluggish, so we're always hungry, you know, when we get off stage. So I get off stage that night, and I'm in the dressing room, and I'm just pounding Gatorade and water trying to rehydrate. And I hear Larry, the cable guy, coming down the hall, and he slides into my dressing room. He's like, "Hey, let's go eat." And Larry says this a lot. And I usually go because it's fun to watch Larry eat. It's impressive. But I said, "Dude," I said, "not tonight." I said, "I got too hot. I'm not hungry." I said, "I'm just going back to the hotel and going to bed." He's like, "Yeah, right. Come on, let's go eat." I said, "No, I'm not hungry. I got too hot. I'm not kidding with you." He goes, "Are you serious?" He goes, "I cannot wait till you ask me to do something for you." What are you, 9 years
For
old?
you? Okay.
It's not personal. I got too hot. I'm not hungry. So I got in the van. I got him to take me back to the hotel and got in my room. And probably a lot of y'all make your living on the road. You have your little routine. When I'm on the road, I like it really dark when I sleep. I like it really cold, so I'll turn the thermostat down. But when you're doing stand-up, you're in a different city every night. Every hotel room is different than the day before. So one of my tricks is I always turn the light on in the bathroom, and I'll shut the door. But that way, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I have to go, I can, you know, I can see that light. I know that kind of orients me, and I know where I am. And I usually sleep in my underwear, but this night they're wet. My socks are wet. I've sweated that much, and I'm like, I'm not sleeping in wet underwear, and I told you I only packed 3 pairs, you know, so I just peel them off, and I flop in the bed naked, and I'm out. Well, I wake up about 1:30 in the morning, and I really, really have to pee. probably from all the Gatorade and the water. And any guy over 40 knows what I'm talking about. You have to pee too much to go back to sleep. You know you can't go back to sleep, but you don't really want to wake up. You just want to get it done and get back in the bed. So I get up and got my eyes half open. I see the light, and I walk in there. Well, as soon as the door closes, I realize I'm in the hall.
Nice.
Of a really nice hotel without a stitch of clothes on. And you want to wake up in a hurry, forget coffee. This is the way to do it, right here. So I'm trying to think through it. Well, Larry's room was right across the hall from mine. And I'm thinking, thank God, I run over there and I'm knocking on the door, and he's not answering, and all I can picture him peeking through the keyhole. But as I'm knocking on the door, I hear the elevator ding. And I'm like, okay, well, I got a 50-50 shot. They're either going to get off and go the other way, or they're going to get off and come towards me. And sure enough, these two Korean guys, they're talking with each other. They get off, and they start walking right towards me. And I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? And I'm like, you act like nothing's up. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. So I start walking towards them. Literally past them in the hall. Hey, how you doing? And one of them said something, which I really hoped meant, wow, that was impressive. But when I looked it up on Translator, I found out it meant, did you see her mustache? So I know I can't get on the elevator. I know elevators have security cameras, and I'm thinking, where do I go? Well, at the end of the hall, they had that exit, you know, for the stairwell, and I'm like, at least get out of the lighted hallway. So I jog down the rest of the hall, and I get in the stairwell, hoping there'll be like a trash can in there where I can take the trash bag out and wear it like over.
Like in the
In the
cartoons.
stairwell, no trash can, but at least I'm not in the lighted hallway. And as I'm trying to think through it, I noticed there's a couple of empty beer cans down in the corner. Well, the reason I got up in the first place was I had to pee. I have no idea how long I'm going to be locked out of my room, and I'm not proud of it, but I picked those cans up and I peed in them and I put them back. I felt horrible about it, but it was old Milwaukee, and I figure whoever cleans them up will go, yeah, that's old Milwaukee, all right. So, but it was a really nice hotel, and they had 24-hour room service. So my thought was, well, maybe somebody's left their room service tray outside their room, and I can get that big cloth napkin and wear it like a diaper, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm going down the stairwell, and every floor I'm opening the door and looking down the hall for a tray. And I get about 3 or 4 floors down. I hadn't found a tray yet, but somebody's left a couple of pizza boxes outside their room.
Ah, I see where this is going.
It's like a folded tuxedo sitting there. So I run down there, I get the pizza boxes, and I bring them back, and I go down the last 3 or 4 floors, and never do find a room service tray. But by now, it's really late. It's like 2 in the morning, and I get to lobby level. Well, I can crack the door, and I can see almost the entire lobby. I don't see a soul. I don't hear anybody talking. I'm thinking, all you gotta do is be brave for 20 seconds. I put 1 pizza box in the front, 1 in the back. Walk up to the desk, the lady's working there. As I go up, she looks up and she goes, can I help you? Yes, you can. I said, I have accidentally locked myself out of my room. Can I just get another key so I can get back in? She goes, do you have any identification? I said, I do, but it's in my other pizza box.
Yeah. Guy's literally naked. I don't think he has identification.
Nothing. And she says, I need to talk to a manager. And she goes behind the wall, and I'm thinking, she's not calling a manager, she's calling the cops. But it's 2 in the morning, I'm naked with a pizza box in front of my junk, where am I gonna go? Yeah, so they had a bellhop stand, like a podium, and I got behind that, and I'm just waiting on her. Well, as I'm waiting, all of a sudden the front doors to the hotel open up, and in walks Larry the Cable Guy and our tour manager. And I'm like, thank you, God, here's answered prayer. So they walk across the lobby. Again, I'm naked holding a pizza box. Larry does not say, "Oh my gosh, buddy, what happened to you?" He looked at me. He looked at the pizza box. He goes, "I thought you said you wasn't hungry."
I knew it. I knew it.
Just been sitting down here naked eating pepperoni in the lobby, you know. I said, "I locked myself out of my room." Well, about that time, here comes the front desk lady back, and now she's got a security guard with her. I said, "Larry, I need you to do me a giant favor." I said, "Tell her who I am so I can get a key and get back in my room." And he looked at me. He looked at her. He goes, "I have never seen him before in my entire life." And he got on the elevator and rode up.
Just because he wasn't hungry, and he took that very personal.
The security guard started laughing. He recognized both of us. He was one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. He got the magic key. He rode up the elevator with me and the pizza boxes, and we went down the hall. He let me in my room. I said, "Wait here." I went in and got my wallet. I gave him a $100 bill. I said, "Thank you so much. Please never tell anybody about this." And now I'm telling y'all for free. But I got back in my room. I put my sweatpants on, put a T-shirt on, made sure I had that room key in my pocket. And I waited about 10 minutes. And I walked back across the hall. I knock on Larry's door. He opens the door. He's still laughing. He's like, he goes, "I told you I couldn't wait until you asked me to do something for you." I said, "All right, you got me." I said, "Are we even?" He's like, "Yeah, we're even." I said, "Well, just to prove I don't have any hard feelings, I went and got you a beer."
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I get what they mean with like a full circle story. Nice. Okay, so I have to say he is indeed a pretty good storyteller. It's very catchy and you don't really lose focus. So I think he does a good job there. It's just for me the reason that I'm not such a big like comedy fan is just like most of these sketches, they're always like, "Oh, I was naked. Oh, I slipped and everyone fell." Or they're like, "Oh, I hate my wife and children." There's always something where I'm like, I don't know if it's really funny, you know? But I have to say with this guy, the way he tells it, that does make it indeed very funny. It's just not a very deep story, you know? I have seen like stand-up comedians who actually take like a really serious story and they know how to make it like funny, but also with like some dark humor, but like not dark humor that's like hurting people. What I liked about this guy, he's also not hurting people with his story, but there's like so much stand-up comedians who are just like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make offensive jokes and then everyone thinks I'm funny." It always kind of feels like the easy way out. I mean, I've only seen one sketch of him and the stuff he's telling, it just seems pretty simple, you know, but yeah, he does know how to make it funny and makes like indeed a full circle story of it. So that's now nice how he indeed at the end, just the moment the friend walks in and he's like, "Oh, I thought you weren't hungry," because he was wearing the pizza boxes. And then in the end, the thing with the beer, like that's the very last thing of the story. He indeed wraps it up very well with that. And it's like these small details you remember during the story, which he comes back to later. So yeah, he does that indeed very well. To be fair, I don't have a lot more to say. It's just, it pretty much speaks for itself. It had funny moments. And I was amused, so I think that's all that matters. So if you have anything to add or you know like more of this guy's work, let me know in the comments down below. It was pretty amusing, so yeah, I hope you like my reaction as well. Even though with like a comedy piece, I feel like there's not a lot to react to. It's just mostly like if you have to laugh or not, and like I said, it was amusing, so yeah. But I still hope you like my reaction, and if you did, then please leave a like, subscribe, and if you want to request your own video, that is possible through my Patreon, so check out the link in the description, and then I really hope to see you next time. Bye!